Welcome back to my channel. Today we are canning lots of things. First, I'm going to start with pickles. And really not first because these pickles have to sit in the brine. And I think I ended up leaving them for 2 days in the brine because I didn't have time to get back to it. So I just sat here and chopped pickles and chopped pickles and chopped pickles. I did them actually in quite a few different shapes. So I think as I'm showing, I kind of started to cut them a little bit on a bias so that they were slightly longer. And I had that in mind for like coverage on a burger or on a sandwich or something like that. So I ended up also slicing some sandwich pickles spears situation. I don't even know what those are called. So anyway, this is me just chopping my life away, getting ready to can some cucumbers. So I also had gone to the store and got some green beans too. So here we have all of the finished chopped pickles. I'm going to link these Cambro containers below. If you are a large family mom or somebody who does meal prep, this is such a nice tool to have. So I also ended up having all 6 of my children helping me as we were getting the green beans ready to can. Now, my youngest had this tiny little plastic knife that she kept cutting with, but everyone else is old enough to use real knives. So we were just cutting off the ends, all of us working together. And I gotta tell you, from doing it by myself to having 5 helpers, it made such a difference and went so much faster. So I'm just doing the raw pack method with my green beans. I find that to be the easiest. I like the result of that. We actually really love green beans, especially the home canned green beans. There's nothing like the taste of summer opening a jar of home canned green beans or even home canned corn. So on this day, I actually had gone to this farm market and gotten all this produce, and I currently am without a vehicle again. So I have spent the majority of this last, I don't know, man, like 7-8 months without a vehicle. So I had a 2005 Excursion that we blew a head gasket on. And I want to say there was something else really big that we had fixed right before then. And I had been limping it along. So I've had that truck for like 7 years, which I loved. Thought it was a great truck. Anyway, so the head gasket is still being fixed. I believe that's fixed now, but the truck just needs to be bolted back together. In the meantime, I had saved and bought a 2016 Chevy Express. And the Chevy Express was the van of my dreams. It's a 10-seater, so there was more than enough room for my 6 children and my husband and myself, which was wonderful because we had spent so many months not having a vehicle that all of us could fit in. And so if we wanted to go anywhere as a family, church, whatever, we would have to drive 2 vehicles. So long story short, at the same time, my transmission went on my van. So my new to me 2016 Chevy Express, the transmission went. Nobody's fault, just one of those things. It does happen, whatever. I had gotten such a great deal on it that, we'll take it to the transmission shop. It'll get fixed. At the same time, my husband's 2 daily drivers both started death wobbling. Now, if you guys are like me and you are debt-free, no car payment kind of people, you understand sometimes all of them break at once. So I'm trying to remember. I think my husband's Jeep is a 2001 and his truck is a 1997, maybe 93, actually. No, 97, 96, something in there. And anyway, so things just start to go, and they all happen to go all at once. So I have been homebound, and this was one of those rare occasions where I had just quickly run to the farm market to go get some produce, and I bought a bushel of tomatoes, which you can actually see. These look like number 2s. Like, they don't look great, but I was still able to get quite a bit of salsa out of these. I bought a bushel of green beans, and then I bought 3 pecks of the cucumbers to make the pickles. I think that was all the things that I bought. And then I also bought 2 big bunches of dill and then also a basil plant because it was on sale. I think it was like $8 for this huge, beautiful basil plant. Now, I am not quite to the point where I'm making tomato sauce yet. The tomatoes are just sort of coming in the canning tomatoes. And of course, I have no vehicle, so I have no way to go get them. But anyway, I thought this would be a good place to start. We were working through our salsa that I had made, maybe 5 years ago at this point. So I'm out of salsa. And so I thought, I'm going to can some salsa. And I also rebel canned this. So don't do as I do. I'm just showing you because you can enjoy it. I ended up rebel canning it. I put my salsa in a quart because I have 6 kids and we consume a lot of salsa. So I also like to roast my tomatoes, 1 for the flavor, and 2, that's how I get my skins off. It's not faster. It's not very fast at all. And it also does not make my pans look nice, but these pans get used. These are used for a large family. They've been used for many years, very often. So that's why they look like this. And I'm okay with that because I don't need brand new aesthetic pans in order to cook. So anyway, I ended up getting what they called canning tomatoes, which I don't know what these big old round tomatoes are. I don't know what they were, but then they also had the Roma or Amish paste. I'm not sure what the other ones were. I just bought what they had, and it was like the first of the crop for the tomatoes coming in. So anyway, working with what I got, thought that's okay. We'll get stuff in the jars and we'll just start getting food on the shelves. So this is kind of the beginning. I did not can this year, and I kind of want to make like a life update. Like, where have I been? What's been going on? I was working full-time this last year, actually doing video editing. So if you notice a difference in my editing, it's because my skill has improved drastically over the last year. But I am no longer doing that full-time, and I'm thankful to go back to being full-time homeschool mom. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to make my own videos and share what I'm making for my family. So right now I have the time to make the videos and just make the food for my family as I'm making the videos. So that's what you're getting. So anyhow, I did not do a garden this year because I didn't have time. I was working more than full-time, lots of hours, lots of long hours. And I just did not. I'm one person. And so I was just barely keeping laundry up. And again, I was mostly managing my people, managing the laundry instead of actually doing the laundry myself. So I did not get any kind of garden. So these are from the farm market, not from my own garden. But this is me putting food on the shelves because I need food on my shelves. I have 6 children and I just love home canned food. So anyway, one of my ways to add flavor to salsa or roasted tomato sauce is by roasting the tomatoes, and that helps take the skins off. You can also dehydrate the skins if you want to and use that as a tomato powder if you blend it up in a high-speed blender after it's dehydrated. I have done that many, many times. I did not save my skins this time. I fed all of my tomato scraps to my chickens. One of the things that I found super fun a couple years ago when we put this sink in to my kitchen is that this sink holds a bushel. So it holds a bushel of tomatoes. It holds a bushel of green beans. It holds a bushel so that I can work a bushel at a time in my farm sink, prepping stuff. I also liked this cutting board that came with the sink. So it sort of fits in there and makes it a nice work surface. You can see a lot of these tomatoes, especially the bigger ones, were not great, but I think these were number 2s. If you're trying to compare prices too, if you're somebody who does can or buys food in bulk to freeze or whatever it is you're doing, maybe freezer meals, something, it was $18 per half bushel. So that means it was $36 for a full bushel. These were 2 different types of tomatoes. Both of them were $18. It was also $38 for the green beans. And I think it was $8 per peck for the cucumbers, but they were like the bigger cucumbers. So they weren't like the super nice, cute looking small cucumbers that would be ideal for doing pickles. But anyway, that was the cheapest. So that's what I bought, and we will enjoy the pickles no matter what. One of the tricks that I also found in taking skins off, I usually do this without gloves, and the gloves actually made this harder. But I dip my fingers in ice water before I pull the skins off, and it somehow makes it so that I do not burn my fingers. I just keep dipping my finger in ice water. Anyway, at this time, I am wearing gloves because I have eczema on my hands, and I am allergic to tomatoes. And I have been allergic to tomatoes my whole life. And especially in the summer, it seems my eczema flares up. I don't know if it's because I'm eating more tomatoes or what it is, but if I were to be using my bare hands to handle these tomatoes, my hands would be wrecked. I mean, they're already wrecked, but this definitely helped. So I just used the food prep, what are they called? Nitrile? I don't know. Whatever they were, non-latex gloves to just protect my hands, because my hands, I wreck my hands when I do this. I'm actually allergic to, if I'm handling potatoes or something, there's like, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, enzyme, who knows, it makes my skin react, and then my hands just itch, and then my skin peels, and it's awful. Anyway, so here I am just processing along through my bushel, trying to get the skins off, get as much flavor as I can into this salsa. This salsa I actually did use, I can't even remember whose recipe it was, but I followed a recipe that I had found on the internet from somebody that I follow on Instagram. If I can remember, I will link it. If not, just use your best recipe. There are free recipes online that are from the USDA food approved, whatever, the things. I decided I was going to be rebel canning, and I almost didn't even share that I was going to can these in quarts. So canning queens, go ahead, come at me. I just because it's not tested does not mean it's not safe. If I can can my tomato sauce in quarts, I can certainly can my salsa in quarts. It's the same ingredients. So anyhow, no density issues, etc., etc. So my husband also likes his salsa to be like, what do they call it? Blended, essentially. He doesn't like the chunks. I don't mind the chunks at all. I love chunky salsa. Most of my kids don't mind chunky salsa, but if I want my husband to eat it, I needed to blend it. So that's what I did. I actually filled my pot. I think the one I'm using in the sink here is a 14 quart pot, and I ended up switching to my 21 quart, I think it is. And in that, I added my onions and my green peppers and my red bell peppers. And then I ended up adding an entire bunch of fresh cilantro into the blender too. And in the end, I both tried to do the stick blender, but that was not very effective. And so in the end, I decided that I was just going to, in batches, put it through my Vitamix. Now, if you are roasting your tomatoes in order to get the skins off easily, of course, it needs to be cooked a certain amount of time in order for them to come off easily. And the longer you do it, the easier the skins come off. It also works fine if you have the time to let them cool. So this was actually a cooler pan of tomatoes, which is why I was able to handle it with my bare hand. Again, I probably should have put gloves on. Like I said, I'm really struggling with my eczema on my hands. It's my right hand that's worse than my left. But if you want to get a lot of flavor, you do want to make sure that your tomatoes get a little brown or black there, because that does add the flavor. And that's what we're going for. We want as much good flavor as possible. Okay, so back to my life update, things going on, all the things. I'm still working part-time, still working from home part-time. I actually work on the back end for a couple different YouTubers and do things like comments or video editing now, still here and there, comment moderation, other random back end things. I have been doing YouTube for a really long time, so while I don't have 1 million subscribers, I definitely know my way around the back end of YouTube. So if there's something that they tell me they need done, I can go do that thing, if that makes sense. So that's something that I can do with my kids all at home and obviously from my home computer. But I am very much looking forward to this fall with school starting again and just going back to life as a homeschool mom. I actually was so excited to have that van. I was so excited because it meant freedom, and it meant that I could go on vacation with my kids. And we had gone camping, and we even went up to visit my friend Heather, the Needy Homesteader. I will link her channel above. I'm sure you all know her. I went to go visit her with my kids, and we stayed with her, and the kids swam, and it was super fun. And when I came back, it was the next day. I headed to the chiropractor, and while I was in town with the chiropractor is when I was like, something is not right. This is not driving right. And it got to the point where I pulled over, just so happened to be at a Goodwill, which I was totally happy about. Anyway, long story short, transmission blew. Whatever the correct term is, it's dead. It's toast. So there went my summer with my kids. So this last week, when was that? It's been over a week now, and I have been so sad. I have grieved so much. I really thought we were going to be traveling the state and going to find my dad at campgrounds and camping around, and I really thought we were going to adventure the rest of the summer, but maybe that's a fall adventure. Who knows? So, long story short, that was how the rest of the summer went, but I was really hoping that we were going to end up, maybe swimming a whole lot more and spending time at the beach. As I'm watching this voiceover, I'm wondering, did I play that clip twice? It's quite possible I did. So now my plan for this fall, it's still adventuring. I still have lots of adventures to go. I think that it's really interesting as I've gone through seasons through motherhood. I have 6 children. They are now ages 13, 12, 10, 8, 7, and 2. And I remember, and again, I had my first 5 in 6 years. So that was just a lot. Okay. That was a lot and pretty intense time where there was just a lot of little kids and a lot of kids who just couldn't do anything for themselves. By the time I had number 5, my oldest was still kind of unable to tie his shoes. I was buckling 5 kids into car seats kind of thing. And now I'm not in that season anymore. And I spent so long, I think, in the seasons where it was just like really difficult to go places that I'm just like, I almost got like mini wanderlust, like I want to go and I want to go find like the cool hiking places. And I want to go find, I don't know, I just want to go adventure. And my van was like how I was going to go adventure with my kids. And then when my van died, I'm telling you, I could cry now. I could just cry. So part of what I'm doing, just making the little side hustle a little bit, sharing some encouragement. I do make money on YouTube, very, very little, but a little. And that'll help pay for my transmission. So that's what I'm doing, a little at a time, and that's fine. So anyway, my plan and hope for this fall is homeschooling. We started doing, what was it? Was it Gather Around Homeschool? Is that what we ended up buying? I think it may have been. I actually think it may have been. We really enjoyed the unit study. I think as a family, especially with so many different ages of children, the unit studies like Gather Around, where they allow you to do all the different students at the same time with the different ages, that is very helpful for as many children as I have who are homeschooling. So that actually is my favorite style of homeschool. One of my favorite years of homeschool that we did, and I'll link it below, I think it is still available, is what was that called? It was called, I don't remember what it was called. There's something like Prairie something or other, but that was doing a unit study essentially through all of the books of Laura Ingalls Wilder. And there was science, there was history, there was geography, there was the health aspect. There were all different aspects in the unit study, and that is when I fell in love with unit studies. So I love that. I also really love the Robinson curriculum. I love having the high quality literature and providing that for my children and having my children really focus primarily on reading. This year, I know that we're going to spend a lot of time on writing. My kids still do Saxon math. So we have, I'm trying to think, at this point, I think I'm going to have 3, possibly 4 children working through their own Saxon math textbooks. So that's pretty exciting. Anyway, so that's my plan. Going back into homeschool, I think we're going to still do the unit study approach mixed in with a little bit of the Robinson curriculum, with them providing the really high quality classics literature and then writing and Saxon math. So I think those are my things. And then out adventuring, Lord willing, that my van, which is getting dropped off at the transmission shop tomorrow, Lord willing, that goes well. Lord willing, that doesn't cost more than it was quoted to be, because it's still already expensive. And again, all you Dave Ramsey ladies out there, you feel me, like, the emergency fund is there for emergencies. This was an unexpected expense, and we have the emergency fund. Like, I'm like trying to talk myself into this, right? Like, it's not fun to use the emergency fund because emergencies are not fun. Anyway, trying to talk myself into it. I'm still kind of upset about it. We got such a great deal on the van, and I was like kind of riding on that high of like, this was such a great deal on a 2016. And, just for reference, in case anybody's wondering, we paid $10,000 for the van, and it had 165,000 miles on it. The interior's in really good condition. The exterior's in really good condition, and we expected that we were going to buy tires and wheels. Did not expect a $5,000 expense for the new transmission. So anyway, just one of those things, and we're making do, and we are just rolling with it, That's what we're doing. So that's sort of a really chatty homeschool plan update. I think I'm going to make like a bucket list of things I'd like to do this fall. Man, one of the things I wanted to do this fall. So I'm going to be 40 in February. And one of the things in my before I turned 40 bucket list was actually the bridge walk on the Mackinac Bridge on Labor Day. And I don't think my van is going to be done by then. I'm not sure. That is one of the things that really was on my before 40 bucket list. All my kids wanted to do it. It seems like it would be so much fun. It's kind of funny. I talked to my brother about it, and he's like, that sounds terrible, actually. And I know my sister has done it with her boyfriend, and I think that was the conclusion, where it was like, it's uncomfortable, it's hot, it's a 5-mile walk, and there's a lot of people. And then you have to coordinate like shuttling your vehicle and yourself back. Like you got to park on one of the sides. Anyway, there's a lot of logistics, but I really wanted to do it. Like, it's just always been on my bucket list. My grandparents, I don't know if I can put a map. Go ahead and look on a map of Michigan, look up Sault Ste. Marie. I will put it on the screen here so you can know how to spell it, because it's not spelled like it sounds like it is. But that's where my grandparents lived my whole life. And so I live in the Lower Peninsula. I have grandparents, aunts, and uncles that lived up in the Upper Peninsula. And so my whole life, we were going across that bridge multiple times a year, going up north in the summers, going to see my grandparents and going to see my family and going camping up north. And I've continued that with my kids. I have an aunt and uncle who still live up there after my grandparents passed away. And we've spent many summers going up there multiple times in the summer. And so that would be my plan. That would be my goal. I might even, you know what? My uncle is always down for a good time, so maybe he would be willing to go and shuttle us back and forth for that. He always seems like he's just up for whatever it is we're adventuring to do. So anyway, like I said, I have this deep desire to just adventure some more. Like, let's go to the state parks. Let's go to the Shipwreck Museum again. Let's go see Whitefish Point again. Let's go all the way up to even Copper Harbor. Like, I want to go and travel with the kids and go campgrounds and like go seeing the beautiful parts of Michigan and just go enjoy things again. And again, I spent so long in the season where I had so many little kids that it was very hard. And now I have a 13-year-old, and I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they all can help with the 2-year-old instead of having like a whole herd of cats that are like toddlers. I don't have that anymore. So it's just a different season of life, and I'm excited for it because my oldest, like I said, is 13. And so in a couple years, he's going to be driving. And it's just like, I feel like I have this tiny window here where we can go adventure and do things, and he'll like still want to be there and still be part of it. And we can still have fun, but it won't be so hard as it was when I had 5 kids, 6 and under. Like, that was so hard. That was such a hard, long season. So anyhow, I have lots of plans for that. We also still do music lessons. So my boys are in guitar lessons and my girls are in piano, and that'll be part of our fall school coming back. I would like to do a lot more library adventures. We love our local library. My library in my county is so fantastic. It has a bunch of different branches. And my favorite part about my library system is that number one, there's no fines, which is amazing because I have 6 kids and we often lose books and find them later. And also, you can return it at any location in the county. So if I am, gone up to Meyer, I can return it to that location. And if I'm across town and I'm getting something, I can get it at that location. Or if I'm in my town and I can drop it off there. It's just like wherever, it's so convenient. You can also borrow from all the locations. They will bring it to your closest one. And I love that too. So anyway, back to my video. One of the things that is very difficult in canning so much is how much cleanup there is. Does anybody else feel that? Where it's just like, oh my goodness. Somebody commented, I think in one of my Instagram videos, that was like, you know what? The worst part about canning for a large family and doing these big batch canning things is that your family still wants to eat on those days. Like, how rude is that? So anyway, I think on this day, I'm trying to remember what we had eaten for dinner. I can't remember. Sometimes I like to try to put crock pot meals together to do that. Okay, so as you can see, I have desperately lacked adult conversation in this last, I don't know, couple weeks as I've been struggling. And it was honestly more than that because, like I said, it was almost all summer where I did not have my truck. So I have been vehicle-less for quite a while, and that has been a challenge. So I'm clearly desiring adult conversation. That's why I'm talking your ear off through this entire nearly 30-minute long canning video. It is what it is. It's a chatty update. I hope you're enjoying it. Please feel free to leave comments so that I can actually have adult discussions with adults and not just with my children. Please leave comments down below. Talk to me. I'm trying to remember where I was going with that train of thought. I think what I was going to say is maybe go through what my canning goals are for this fall. I think that might have been what I was going to say. Could have been my video ideas. I'm not sure which it was, but as I'm sitting here canning, I might as well tell you about my canning goals. So I am currently out of my sweet corn that I canned a couple years ago. I would love to have 25 or more jars, like quart jars of canned corn. I also love having pints of canned corn too on my pantry shelves because I love putting canned corn in soups and in chilies and things like that. So canned corn is definitely going to be one of them. I have never home canned potatoes, and that is sort of on my wish list of something that I would like to do. I have seen lots of Rebel canning in potatoes where they dry can it. Heather, if you are watching this, look away. Listen not any longer. I'm curious about the dry canning method. I'm just curious. Like, I almost want to try it just to see. With the pressure canner, again, we're just deep Rebel canning in this video. I digress. I also would love to stock up for my winter stock up of my broths. I made a huge amount of the beef broth that I pressure canned. I am out of my chicken broth. However, I am mere weeks away. And this is the other part too. Speaking of my adventure summer, I am weeks away from getting like 75 meat chickens. So I will no longer be able to adventure for essentially the next 8 weeks of summer and into the fall because I have to take care of my chickens multiple times a day. When you have that many meat birds, like, you need to move the tractor multiple times a day, and then I'll have to process them all. So it's just a lot coming. And in my mind, I had planned on the rest of the summer being adventure summer, and then I could buckle down in early fall in order to do my meat chickens and then, back to school. So anyhow, I would love with my meat chickens to get chicken on my shelves and my pantry shelves. I think having home canned chicken is really, really nice. So I'm not sure how that's going to go, but because I butcher my own chickens, that means I have all of the bones in order to make a year's supply of chicken broth. So I have that on hand, and I'm going to be working through that as well here to come. I would also like to get peaches this year. Do I want peaches? Nope. I might still be pretty good on peaches. Apple pie filling, applesauce. Big time. I want applesauce on my shelf. I'm trying to, like, in my mind mentally walk through my pantry and show, like, what's on each shelf. Pumpkins this fall. I can't remember. Anyway, I do want to do more green beans too. While I did get quite a few, I think maybe 14 quarts or so, I can't remember. I would like to do more. So I just want to fill my pantry back up. That's my plan. I suppose as I'm at home, while I'm waiting for my vehicle to get fixed, I suppose that's the plan. Who knows? By the time this video goes up, I may have my van back and I will be off adventuring, and you won't hear from me for another few weeks. One last thing I wanted to mention before I sign off is that I am embarking on trying to handwrite and copy the entire Bible. Now, I don't have a goal in mind for when I would like to have it done. I'm also currently listening through on Audio Bible, the Bible in, I think it's 90 days. So that is, lots of scripture that I'm listening to every single night. But I also am working through handwriting the Bible. So I have this journal Bibling set, which I have linked in a couple of my other videos, and you don't need that. If you want to do this, I cannot recommend it enough. It is so helpful in studying the Bible. It just helps you with memorizing it because you are looking back and forth and rereading the words so many times, so many more than if you just read through them and weren't trying to copy them down by hand. I'm currently in the process of doing that, and so I started sharing videos on my channel. If you like to watch people writing, or if you like handwriting type videos, you might enjoy those videos, you might not. Anyway, it holds me a little bit accountable as I'm embarking on this goal of mine. If you'd like to check those out, there's going to be a link to that video. And if not, why don't you leave below, what is it that you are canning, or where is it that you think I should take my children? Somewhere in Michigan to adventure with my children before school starts, or even after school starts. I don't care. We'll adventure whenever. Homeschool means freedom, right? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. See you again soon. Bye-bye.